Let's create a mixed media realistic portrait painting of two girls with pen, watercolor, and graphite, while we chat about mindsets and tips that could help you overthink less and start the process of painting more easily. Sometimes when you think and theorize too much about your painting, your mind starts to fill up with doubts and worries. This is especially true when you're considering drawing or painting something out of your comfort zone. Something that I found helpful is to simply not give yourself too much time to think and just act and start painting. For this painting, I chose to go very ambitious and start the biggest painting I had ever made. I was actually gifted this huge piece of watercolor paper, and it's been lying around for months waiting for me to use it because I was too hesitant to commit to a huge painting. For months, I kept telling myself that I wasn't ready as an artist. I've never painted something so big before, and deep down, I was scared something would go wrong and I would give up in the middle. What if we are willing to talk ourselves out of trying something new and getting out of our comfort zone because we want to avoid the potential pain of failure? I feel like through overthinking, you put off starting or continuing your artwork because you are trying to avoid facing the possibility that it could not work out. But what if by settling for less and walking the safe road, you are losing the chance of potentially becoming more than you ever expected simply because you are underestimating yourself? At this point in the drawing process, I was working on the face, and it wasn't turning out good at all. It seemed like I couldn't get the proportions right, no matter how many times I tried. Challenges in your art process make you come up with creative solutions, and because of this setback, I remembered the technique of drawing upside down. If you are struggling to draw something accurately, flipping your artwork and reference photo will help immensely because it pushes you to simplify what you are drawing as simply shapes and to draw what you see as opposed to how your brain thinks something should look. I found with this painting, the hardest part for me was simply starting. After making the sketch, I put off starting to draw for another 3 whole days, coming up with a bunch of excuses as to why I was too busy to pick up a pen. Then, at some point, I reflected and I told myself, hey, you're just putting off starting because you're afraid of the unknown. So I sat myself down and just started. Part of one of Isaac Newton's laws of motion is an object in motion tends to stay in motion and an object at rest tends to stay at rest. In addition to gravity, if you think about it, this actually applies to you as well. When you haven't made art for a while, your creativity is at rest, so to speak. So logically, feeling resistance to starting to draw or paint again is natural. The key is to push past that feeling and become an object in motion. Once you start, it's easier to continue because an object in motion tends to stay in motion. In one of my previous videos, I drew 4 small portraits in my sketchbook using 4 different techniques. In my last video, I built upon the 4th technique I used and tried it on a bigger artwork, and with this painting, I am actually using 2 of the 4 techniques I tested out then, which are drawing with my pencil and blending it smoothly, and combining pen with watercolors in a single artwork. When I first drew that sketchbook page several weeks ago, I was feeling stuck and simply focused on enjoying myself and the process of creating art. Little did I know that through that page, I was learning so much and getting so many ideas for my next bigger works. Don't get discouraged when you don't feel like making a big piece. Even a simple sketchbook page can do a lot to bring you further and provide inspiration on your art journey. I found my reference photo on Pinterest, which I will link below in the description, as well as my Pinterest page, where I have collected other reference photos in a similar style that you might like. When I was painting the hair on this piece, I was upset because I thought I had accidentally made the hair too dark compared to the rest of the painting. This turned out to be a blessing in disguise because it made me take the leap to make the painting darker, which in my opinion took it to the next level. However, at that moment, I was finding the whole painting overwhelming and didn't know where to continue shading. So I took another look at the reference photo and circled all the areas of the painting that are as dark as the hair. This helped me focus, and after painting those sections in, the painting looked way more two-dimensional and purposeful. Once I had established the darkest areas, it was easier for me to paint in the midtones. I think it's healthy and good to plan your artwork to a certain extent, such as what you are going to draw or paint and how. However, something to keep in mind is that a lot of times in both art and life in general, nothing really goes entirely as you had planned. And that's okay and part of the process. I know that the unexpected challenges that can pop up when creating your artwork can be stressful. But when you think about it, what do you have to lose if, say, you do fail and quit your painting or drawing in the end? Is it really that serious? Maybe you did lose time and an art piece, but does that make the experience you gained any less valuable? Of course not. Sometimes through overthinking, we end up overcomplicating a process that isn't that complicated to begin with and is actually manageable. What helps me when I feel overwhelmed about my painting is to break it down, take it little by little, because more often than not, a large task is just a bunch of little processes that you are more than capable of completing. Sometimes overthinking can be a result of putting too much pressure on yourself. Let me tell you this though, at the end of the day, what really matters more? Worrying about outside influences or doing something that makes you truly happy? I'd say the latter. So follow your intuition and create what you love. There's this concept that I heard that goes like this. It's better for you to live in the smallest and dingiest apartment but in your dream location, as opposed to in a mansion for the same money but in the middle of nowhere and in an area which wouldn't ever be your first choice. Because by putting yourself in a location surrounded by the quality of life you want to strive for, you are setting yourself up to start from a higher point, which will make you level up faster. What if your art was the same way? What if by pushing yourself to go big and daring to strive to do more, you are giving yourself the opportunity to become greater? Obviously, this won't be a linear road and there will be a learning curve, but wouldn't you agree that if you keep giving yourself chances to do something great, you have a better likelihood of it actually happening? We tend to overthink our painting process because we're overwhelmed and don't know where to start. You can push past these doubts and start before you know how. I guarantee you won't regret it. I definitely didn't with this painting. If anything in this video was helpful and speaks to you, please leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.